What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back for another episode of the Premier League SPUR-SPECTIVE, which I'm sure is going to brighten up your day today. And we've got a whole range of Premier League fixtures to get through that we did predict over the weekend. The perfect weekend for Tottenham Hotspur it was this weekend, and obviously this is following on from Predict the Prem on Thursday, where we predict every outcome of the Premier League games. The way it works is it's 5 points for a correct scoreline, 3 points for a correct result on both teams to score, 1 point for a correct result in the star man as well, which is 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist. The scores on the doors at the moment, only 3 points separates me and my brother. 3-4-7 to Sim, 3-4-4 to myself. And let's see how we got on this week. And let's start off with the Friday night game, Newcastle against Wolverhampton Wanderers, which finished 1-0 to Newcastle, where Newcastle got back to winning ways. Both of us went for 1-1, so 0 points each there.
Yeah, and Chris Wood's scoring the winner. Very good win for Newcastle. Wolves, who had not maybe, I think their top 4 hopes had long gone, but maybe outside hopes of getting into the top 6. They seem to be fading with every week now. A poor result for them. And I always thought they would run out of steam the way they play, and I think it was pretty unsustainable, and I think that's panning out the way at the moment.
Yeah, and also not just that, but the amount of goals that they score as well. They just don't score anywhere near enough goals. So these results can always happen when you don't score enough goals, can't they?
Exactly. They're still only 2 points behind West Ham in 6th, and having same games played. So I guess they are still in the fight for top 6, but they're going to have to start finding some bit of consistency if they want to make sure they get there. It's going to be a tight battle there, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe, especially if West Ham carrying on their European excursions. It definitely could be a battle there. But yeah, let's move on to the Saturday games, starting off with a 12:30 kickoff, which was Everton against Manchester United in a really important game for Everton. And they pulled through with a win, 1-0 to Everton on the day. I went 1-0 to Man United. You went 1-1, so you got close there, but not close enough.
Yeah, not quite, but very good result for Everton. I thought, I was watching the game, first half, United had a couple of chances. Pickford keeping United at bay, Rashford having a couple of opportunities, but Everton got a goal, bit of maybe against run of play, Gordon with a deflective effort, and after that United seemed toothless, man, and they seemed to just lose desire, lose all kind of hope of getting back in the game. That was only a 1-0. Everton held strong. It was a dogged display, and they fully worth the 3 points, and what a massive 3 points it was. 4 points clear the relegation zone now, but United just seem devoid of all fight and all desire to get into that top 4 spot, and they don't seem like a dressing room that seems together. And Bruno had a bit of a disaster class, I felt, throughout the game, and obviously Ronaldo caused controversy with knocking that phone out of Everton's fan's hand after the game, so not a very good day for United at all.
No, not at all. And it kind of follows on a theme that I've noticed since Rangnick has come in, where they play okay. Sometimes they play well. This time it was okay. But the point is that they play a lot better usually in the first half, and they usually just fall off a cliff in the second half. And to lose to this Everton side, who have just been pretty much getting battered everywhere they go, apart from the odd game here and there, terrible for Man United, to be honest.
Yeah, to be fair to Everton, they've been a lot better at home than they have been away from home.
True.
But that could be the result that gets them safe, because I know there's still a long way to go, but if those kind of results at home can maybe be a catalyst, and if they can just keep up their home form, I think they might be all right.
Yeah, especially as results kind of went for them this weekend as well.
Big time, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Emirates, as Arsenal lost 2-1 to Brighton. You went 1-0 to Arsenal. I went 0-0. Neither of us getting points there, but I told you guys this is going to be similar to the Everton game earlier on in the season, and that's exactly how it panned out.
Yeah, and Arsenal were, a bit all over the place for the first 70 minutes or so, especially those 2 goals, 2 high-quality goals from Brighton, but they were dominating in that central midfield. I think Arsenal got their tactics spot on, completely wrong, with changing up too many positions with the injuries they had. Xhaka left back, Odegaard and Smith Rowe in centre mid, keeping with Lacazette. It was just they made too many mistakes. And
I don't get why they're not playing Nketiah more, because I know he's not the the best striker in the world, but every time I've seen him come on in the last few weeks, he's actually performed quite well.
Yeah, he's a bit more of a poach though, isn't he? And I guess when they're chasing games, he's going to make more of an impact than maybe if he starts. Maybe that's what Arteta thinks. But they were 2-0 down. Mwepo got a goal and an assist. The second goal, by the way, brilliant volley from the edge of the area. Brilliant stuff. But should Ramsey have done better, do you think? He got a hand to it. Does get a hand to it.
Maybe.
Or is it harsh on him?
Yeah, I think a bit harsh to say.
Side-footed volley, though, edge of the area.
I think it was a brilliant strike, and I thought he was brilliant throughout the whole game.
Mwepo.
Yeah, I thought he really was.
And obviously the big moment in terms of controversy, just before the break, Arsenal had a goal ruled out for offside. Martinelli puts it in. A lot of Arsenal fans on social media saying they feel like they've been hard done by. They don't think there was enough evidence to rule out the offside, but the VAR ruling that the evidence showed he was offside.
I thought it was a tiny bit harsh. I thought like they were looking at like so many different angles, and none of them had really conclusive evidence that he was offside, to be honest. But I'll take it, mate. I'll absolutely take it.
I think there was just about enough evidence to suggest that Cucurella was in front of Sanchez. So if we knew Martinelli was just about level with Sanchez, and he has to be behind two players, not just one, to be onside. And I think there's enough evidence to suggest that Cucurella was ahead of Sanchez. That is enough to suggest that he was offside.
Yeah, I just don't know. There was just so many people blocking the angles from every.
There was. It was difficult to see.
It was difficult to see. It was near impossible.
I think there was enough evidence to suggest it. That's why they went for it, I think. But obviously, I think that was probably a big moment. It was a bit like when we played Newcastle, like that moment changed it just before half time, and we got a goal. I think it might have changed it for Arsenal if that was allowed to stand. It wasn't, and obviously Brighton went on to get the next goal and a loss. And look, they're imploding at the moment, results-wise and performance-wise as well.
Happy days, happy days. You know, we were sitting here a couple of weeks ago thinking, Arsenal are on good form, and when are they, we're going to look at this Man United, West Ham, Chelsea run for them to slip up. They've lost 2 games already.
Yeah, before that run-in, yeah. Big problems there.
Yeah, so happy days there. And like I keep saying, I'm sure that brightened up your day. Southampton against Chelsea finished 6-0 to Chelsea on the back of that 4-1 defeat to Brentford. They bounced straight back. You went 2-0, so you get 3 points. I went 2-1, so I get 1 point. But this was just a demolition job from Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit of a statement, isn't it, from Chelsea after some really bad defeats recently. Tuchel was pretty angry after the last game, saying, we can't focus on the second leg game. We have to go to St Mary's and get the job done there. And boy, did they. I think they were 4-0 up by half-time. Mason Mount was on form. Timo Werner, I think, hit both posts and the bar before scoring twice. Yeah. He was running riot at times. And it was an emphatic victory for Chelsea. And they were completely on form. And that probably, that manner of that victory, that makes you think, the talk of them, their decline may be a bit premature, probably.
Yeah, I would say so. And also, after that defeat to Brentford, we were looking maybe we can get top 3. And I was looking at that Arsenal-Chelsea game thinking Arsenal can actually get a result against Chelsea. But now with that 6-0 victory and Arsenal losing 2 on the bounce, I think Chelsea coming into form at the right time to play Arsenal. Yeah,
the next game is actually Arsenal because they don't play they play in the FA Cup semi, so we'll see how they get on in that game. If we win on the weekend against Brighton and they do drop points, then I think there is an opportunity. But I would say if they get the win on against Arsenal midweek, we'll probably say goodbye to top 3. But we don't need top 3 anyway because it doesn't matter. Top 4's the aim.
It'd be nice. It would be a nice bonus.
It would be nice.
All right, let's move on to Watford against Leeds. You went 2-2. I went 2-1 to Watford, but Leeds won 3-0. And you got to say that's all but confirmed Watford probably going down.
Yeah, how many? They're now 6 points away from Everton having played a game more. They have a game in hand on Leeds, but they are 11 points away, so I can't see them catching Leeds. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Leeds now unbeaten in 4, to be fair. 3 lost, won 3 of their last 4.
Just come in and made a difference.
Yeah, he's improving things there, and a very good win. Actually, didn't see much of this one. I was concentrating on other things, but Watford, that's a really poor result. And if they don't start getting wins soon, they're dragging further and further adrift, aren't they?
Yeah. And with Everton getting a result, it's looking it's looking like they are already down, to be honest.
Well, it's a big game. They got Brentford at home next week. If they can get a win there, with Burnley playing West Ham, Everton playing Leicester, they need Leicester to get something.
Yeah, Brentford are the most on-form team there.
Yeah, can't see them being Brentford, to be honest, at the moment. But you never know. They just got to keep plugging away, don't they? And just try and hope for the best. And Hodgson hasn't had maybe the desired effect, has he, since coming in? But this is the thing with Watford. It seems to be like a Groundhog Day every season. They sack their manager early, and then they just go through so many managers, and they can't really find an identity. And they end up, like, to be honest, looking back now, they should never have sacked whoever was in charge right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, who was it?
I can't remember his name. Cisco.
Cisco.
They were like 14th or 13th when he sacked him. And then they brought in Ranieri.
Yeah,
and then they kind of got way worse. They brought in Hodgson. And, you know, if they would just kept Cisco, maybe they would have stayed up.
I know.
I think they just completely lost their way. But that's their board. Their board is like them. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure they'll sack Hodgson at the end of the season and point someone. They might get promoted next year.
They'll come back up, and then they'll go through 3 managers in the Premier League.
Exactly. They need to. I think this approach maybe is starting to catch up with them.
They need to stick with a manager, stick with a philosophy, and see where it takes them.
Or at least not sack someone when they're mid-table. Why are you sacking your manager when you're mid-table? Doesn't make sense.
That's a Watford.
Yeah. Why are you doing that?
Mental. Anyway, let's move on to Villa Park, with Tottenham ran riot 4-0. You went 3-1 to Spurs. I went 2-0. So I get 3 points this time. You get 1 point. I mean, we've covered this game to death, but it wasn't exactly a 4-0 showing, was it?
I don't know how we didn't concede. I'm a bit annoyed we didn't get 3. Not annoyed, but a bit surprised I didn't get 3 points out of that, to be honest. But you got to say we rode our luck in the first half. Lloris kept us in it, and what a second half that was to completely destroy them.
Doubt, mate.
Yeah, of course not. But yeah, look, Sonny on fire, brilliant win, and come on, good stuff.
All right, let's move on to the Sunday games. Brentford against West Ham, which finished 2-0 to Brentford. You went 2-1, I went 3-1. So both of us getting the Brentford win, but with only a point on the board. And that's 100% still with Christian Eriksen in the starting lineup for Brentford.
Yeah, man.
That's 5 wins or 4 wins.
They're at least in difficult games as well. West Ham, Chelsea in there as well. So they're really on great form when Eriksen's been starting Brentford, and good on them. Fair play. And I think that probably should see them safe now. I think they're 12 points clear of the relegation zone. If there are any lingering thoughts, they're probably gone.
Because there were some before Eriksen joined, weren't there?
They were, because they were into terrible form, weren't they? But Eriksen's really breathed new life into their season. Obviously, Mbuemo and Ivan Toney both on the score sheet. A pair who had a good start to life in the Premier League. Goals dried up from a bit. But Ivan Toney now, how many goals is that? Is that 11 goals for him?
Goals, yeah.
Impressive for him. And I think he's had a good season.
He actually, Ivan Toney, took a long time to start scoring goals in the Premier League. He scored maybe 1 or 2 in the first few weeks, I think penalties. But then, he's got to grips with things, and 11 goals, and he's having a really good season. And I think that if he has another good season next year, maybe a better club might take him up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of interest in the summer, to be fair, because he had a good season last year in the Championship as well, didn't he? So fair play to Brentford. West Ham.
He doesn't seem like he wants to be at Brentford.
No, he doesn't. He seems like he's looking for better things. But West Ham, Europa League, long season, starting to catch up with them. They're not able to keep up their standards week in, week out when they got European football. And we called this, it was predictable, and I think it's coming to the fore now. They look leggy in this game, and a lot of work. Well, I've seen a lot of West Ham fans as well saying Antonio was absolutely shocking apparently in this game.
I read a lot of West Ham fans on Twitter saying that was their worst performance of the season.
Well, they need to turn it around because they've got a big game in midweek. I think that's what really they care about, isn't it? Yeah. I don't like. Maybe they had one eye on that, and as much as you'll annoy West Ham fans, that's the reality of their situation. Europa League's their best bet, so that's where the glory is for them this season. But we'll see if they get through. If they get knocked out, if they do get knocked out by Lyon, and they don't finish top 6, is that a poor season? Considering last season they finished 5th.
Yes, I think it would be, just because they've enjoyed this Europa League so much this season, to not have that for next season. Not again, but to not have it next season, to be dropped into the Conference League. I think there'll be a bit of bad feeling towards the West. But I don't think Moyes will be in any danger or anything.
No, like but they did finish 5th last year, didn't they? And to be falling back is a bit
but when you're in Europe, this was always going to happen with the size of their squad.
True. Yeah, they didn't really invest enough, and they need to get a deeper squad for next season if they're going to cope.
Yeah. Even if they're in the Conference League next year, they can go win that.
Yeah, definitely. If they have a deeper squad. Otherwise, yeah, they could win it, but depends sort of what their ambitions are, I guess.
All right. Leicester against Crystal Palace finished 2-1 to Leicester on the day. We both went for 2-2 in this game. I didn't see much of it, but Leicester grabbing themselves a good victory there.
Yeah, and obviously, I think Zaha scored for Palace at 2.
He's on form at the moment, isn't he?
And I think Dewsbury Hall, goal and assist for him.
Oh,
a really
that was
good
a brilliant goal, yeah.
on his left peg into the top corner. But Leicester, not a team who aren't letting their Thursday nights affect their league form at the moment. They're starting to get some decent performances and results, and they're still in it. They drew 0-0, didn't they, with PSV in midweek? What do you reckon? They got a good chance of winning it? I don't even know who's
Conference
in it.
League. Yeah, they got a good chance. I mean, Roma are in it as well.
Yeah, they lost 2-1 to Glimt.
Bodo Glimt. Yeah, better than 6-1 earlier on the competition.
true.
But no, I think Roma will get past Bodo in the home leg. And I think it's a straight shootout between Leicester and Roma, to be fair.
Well, Leicester, they drew 0-0 at home to PSV, so they have to win away.
Yeah, I think they'll do it.
So difficult. Aaron Zahavi, man.
Yeah,
difficult.
I know.
And Madueke as well.
Yeah, no, PSV have actually got a few good. They got Cody Gakpo as well. They got a few good players, PSV, but I think Leicester's quality will shine through in the end. And I think that, Leicester had a shocking season up until a few weeks ago, up until their defence come back. Fofana's made a big difference to them.
He's been good.
And that's what I was saying earlier on the season. I thought that once they do get their defence back, their form will take a bit of an upturn. So I think they should stick with Brendan for next season. That's
they got
for sure.
3 games in hand on Wolves. They're 9 points behind.
Wow.
So you never know. But I don't know what their fixtures are. But wow, they still got so many games to play. It's pretty unbelievable. Yeah, but
they've got to fit them in with the European football as well.
Exactly. I'm just happy. I'm just thinking about this Conference League. I'm just so happy we're out of it, because I don't think we would be where we are now if we were still in it. And honestly, I haven't watched a single game in this Conference League. I have so little interest in it.
Yeah, I've watched a few games here and there, but I think that. I was an advocate for the Conference League when we had all those big discussions earlier on in the season. Once we got Conte, I kind of didn't really care too much about it anymore. But I think under Nuno, it was a lot more important to us because there was no guarantees that we would get those European spots under Nuno. Under Conte, it's a bit different, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think I'm just happy we're out of it, man, because it's just such a useless competition. It's on at the same time as Europa League. No one's watching it.
Yeah, like I said, I've watched a few games, but yeah, not many.
Out of interest or other interests?
Out of interest, mate. Out of interest. I'm always looking at Bodo Glimt, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Anyway, let's move on to Norwich against Burnley, which finished 2-0 to Norwich, which could be quite damaging for Burnley, especially after Everton won. We both went for Burnley wins. I went 1-0, you went 2-0. I really wasn't expecting Burnley to lose this game, and quite a shocking result for them.
They had to get a result if they have serious ambitions of staying up. They had to win. Following on from their win in midweek, that should have been a catalyst to get them season back up and running, because it had gone, 4 defeats in a row before the Everton game. And then they went and won that. Good win, turning around a deficit. And you're thinking, okay, Burnley may be up for the fight, but losing away in Norwich, I think, Matt, if you're getting results like that, that's going to be very difficult for them to stay up. And I know, because Norwich have been the whipping boys, they're unbeaten in 2, surprisingly, Norwich, but I can't see them staying up. They're 7 points away from Everton, and having played a game more as well. Looking at Leeds, they're a game in hand on Leeds, but 12 points behind. So can't see them catching Leeds. It's literally Everton the only one they can catch, and that's not going to happen. So Burnley, though, 4 points behind Everton now, same games played. So look, it is still there for them, but they've got to have a serious upturn in form if they're going to stay up. And they got West Ham next. It's not going to be an easy game, West Ham away.
On the back of beating Everton to put in this result, shocking, man.
Mate, I think they could be destined for the Championship the way things are going.
And Sean Dyche has done such a good job keeping them in the Premier League for so long with such little investment. But it seems as though it's all catching up with them now.
Got them to Europe one year, didn't he?
Yeah,
they played in the Europa League 1 year.
Wow.
They finished 7th, but unfortunately those days are long gone. I think we could be seeing the last of Burnley.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to be upset. I mean, I hate it. I hate going up to Turf Moor.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst trips.
Yeah, as well. And the football as well is just, I'm all right.
And you always know you're in for a game as well, even though you know how crap they are.
I like having teams like Burnley in English football just because it gives it's always like that underdog story when they just batten down the hatches, and especially when they play bigger teams. It's like sometimes it's something nice to see, but in terms of the football they play, I'm not going to miss them.
With Burnley going down, right, with the teams left in the Premier League, there's no real team in the Premier League that you say plays that kind of football.
Yeah. Can't think of too many others.
Because Crystal Palace were, but they're not anymore. Who else in there plays that like really deep-lying football?
Yeah, they're one of the last teams.
There's no one left, is there?
West Ham.
West Ham, probably, yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, I can't think of too many other teams. Yeah. That's it, really.
It's mad, isn't it?
And Watford probably at the moment, but they're going down.
Yeah, I mean, even though like Watford were, for most part of this season, have been quite an attacking team.
Yeah, since Hodgson's come in.
But since Hodgson's come in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's a good point. And who's coming up? Fulham?
Oh, we don't know yet, but Fulham, is Bournemouth in the running as well.
Fulham like to play football under Marco Silva, so could get even more good football coming to the Premier League.
And I think that definitely plays into Antonio Conte's way of playing. Like we want to play those kind of teams.
That's true.
So happy days. All right, let's move on to the last game of the weekend, which was Man City against Liverpool. The title race, mad game. It was a mad game. Finished 2-2. You went 2-1. I went 2-1 to Liverpool. But Man City will probably feel aggrieved not to have won this game.
Yeah, I think they're probably the better team overall. Liverpool just about clawed back 2 goals after, De Bruyne got an early goal and then they equalised pretty early as well. This game never ceases to disappoint. This game, it's a brilliant game of football against 2 colliding philosophies, which are just every bit as good as each other. 2 behemoths of teams as well. City against Liverpool, brilliant teams, and it was a joy to watch. And second 2-2 draw of the season, you just can't separate them, and they're 1 point separates them in the table. City obviously advantage them in the title, but it's just so tight.
Yeah, it is so tight. And I was talking to you during the game, and I said to you, like, usually when 2 teams for the title go head to head, when it's not Man City and Liverpool, it's a really tight game. All this build up to the game, and it's always like 0-0 or 1-0 or something silly like that. But when these 2 teams come together, it's always a great game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always brilliant. It's always a great game of football. Both teams giving it as good as they get. They're not scared of making mistakes. They'll make mistakes, but they know that there'll be chances for them. And that's exactly what happened. And City will be disappointed, especially that Mahrez chance right at the last minute.
And the Sterling offside as well.
They'll be disappointed that that didn't go for them. Liverpool will be disappointed that they only got a draw in the fact that they're still a point behind and they're probably second favourites for the title now. They needed to win that to really get an edge, especially because they got the harder fixtures as well from now to the end of the season. But it's still going to be a tight one from now to the end of the season. And you know what? I've got a feeling it's going to they'll kind of go down to that Spurs game still in the same position, and we could be the team to really put the nail in the coffin for them.
Come on, we're going to put the nail in Liverpool's coffin. That's what I love to see, especially at Anfield. But the star man, both of us going for Heung-min Son, obviously getting a hat-trick. So 6 points each there, 2 points for each goal. So as it stands at the end, it's 3-5-8. No movement in the scoreline in terms of the gap between us two.
Close one.
We got the exact same scores this week. I end on 3-5-5. We'll be back later on this week for another episode of Predict the Prem. So let me know in the comments section below who you think is going to end up on top this season, me or Sim. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.